Hello, you Goolies fans. My name is Wally Wingert. We have an esteemed group in our studio today who will be doing the Groovie Goolies commentary. We're going to introduce each other one by one here. The gentleman to my left, your name is?
Daryl McNeil. I used to work for Filmation, and it's the show I grew up on.
And you also wrote a terrific book called Animation by Filmation. Yes, terrific book. To the left of you is another esteemed gentleman.
No, that's just me. I'm Lou Scheimer. And I used to run the company, sort of.
Sort of. Lou Scheimer, for those of you who do not know, which there probably are very few of you, is Mr. Filmation. He created this whole thing that people like myself really, really adore and appreciate, and he is the man, as we say in the business.
I didn't create this. This was created with the help of this man.
That's a great transition. Thank you. The gentleman to your left is?
Jack Mendelson, and I had the privilege to work with Lou and Norm Prescott and Fred Silverman of CBS at that time in developing this Groovie Goolies, and I got to tell you, it really looks good. I haven't seen it for a while, but I'm very impressed.
Between the look of the art that you kind of oversaw and the voice talent involved, which is a show that got guys like me actually in the voiceover business, it meant everything to me as a kid to see these monsters not being threatening, but being actually kind of goofy kids, like, for example, Frankenstein here, Frankie. Mm-hmm. Howie Morris, unbelievable. You had worked on Laugh-In before, Jack, right? And
yes.
This had something to do with the influence for Groovie Goolies, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. It was Laugh-In was the #1 show, and
we ripped them off.
And Fred.
It was a tribute, as they say.
It was a
homage.
Yeah. That was just supposed to be funny. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, it was certainly had its influence in Laugh-In, and because at that time I was one of the writers of Laugh-In, it all came together right.
Daryl, what year did you start working with Filmation, and what were your responsibilities when you first got hired?
Well, I started working for Filmation actually in 1978. Although I started a bit earlier in the sense I was one of the kids in the live-action crowd scenes for Archie's Funhouse, so I kind of got started with them very, very early. But it was these cartoons that pretty much wanted me to get into doing cartoons growing up. And one thing I wanted to ask Jack, since we're talking about this, being a writer of Laugh-In, I used to ask myself, did you guys have like a monster book to pull all these gags from, to pull the gags for the wall?
That's a good idea. Who did come up with all of these gags? Because there's some amazing puns in here.
It just happens. You just let your mind go and think of in terms of monster jokes. I'm sure there were a couple little kiddie books of monster jokes that found their way into the scripts.
Were you ever influenced by a magazine called Famous Monsters of Filmland? Because the editor of that used to use monster puns all the time, and it was certainly a symbol of its day to the whole sort of, monsters are no longer scary. They're now kind of funny and goofy. And
no, I wonder, but I wish now that I wish now that I had that magazine.
That resource, yes.
While we were writing
he actually had to make this up himself.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff.
These are really original jokes.
Yeah, most of them were.
Whose idea was Ask It Casket?
Probably mine. It sounds like I like rhymes. And
just the name of it, yes.
Yeah, I like alliteration and rhymes and stuff.
Well, actually, one thing another point about the joke writing and all. When I was a kid going to school, there was a guy in my class named Clarence who I ran into the reunion a few months back. I wanted to be funny like him, and I couldn't tell jokes like him, so I would watch shows like this, and that's where I would get my jokes from. And I got this thing for bad puns. I figured if I couldn't tell good jokes, I'd tell bad jokes. And that's come with me ever to this day. I've been pretty much a very punster. So pretty much this show, I give you credit for ruining my childhood, but give me a sense of humor.
The interesting thing is, it is different than any show ever done for Saturday morning.
You're right.
First place, it could have played at night, and it did play for nighttime audiences. The speed and the pacing, the characters. I mean, they're really funny characters based on characters that had not really been made fun of before.
Yeah.
I love this show.
Well,
what is that girl doing on that show?
There was the whole monster craze in the 60s when the monster craze, the monster movie started going to television. and became, kind of a late night fare, and then it eventually became the Munsters, and there was a lot of other spin-off kind of things from that monster craze. This is probably on the tail end of that monster craze, but boy, it certainly was a great way to see out the monster craze in popular culture.
Great piece of tail.
Do you have any funny Howie Morris stories? Because he's legendary. I'm sure you guys have all kinds of funny Howard Morris stories.
Yeah, he was a leech. No.
Next topic.
No.
No. It's
Howard Morris, certainly a very talented performer. In, of course, the Andy Griffith Show.
Howard used to go to Howie that is, used to go to Hawaii every time we ended up going to Hawaii. I bought him more meals.
We wish he was still around so we could still buy him meals. Unfortunately, Howie passed in 2005.
Funny story about Howie.
Yeah.
A real funny. This is going to be very, very fast. He was doing the shows in New York. He had just come back out of the Army. The thing called television had started, and there's a guy named Max Liebman who was looking for somebody to do something. Howie was, as he said, at lib at that time, which means he was an unemployed actor. He said, he told me the story. He says he goes up to see this guy, Max Liebman, right? Yeah. And he says, what's television? He said, well, television is like, there's pictures on the air. I mean, they didn't really know.
Right.
And Howie said, well, yeah, okay. And the guy said, wait a minute. He said, I think maybe you might do. He said, he walked me up to a door. And he said he opened this door, and behind this door there was a silhouette. And he said there was a giant man standing there, and light streaming out from behind him. And he said he saw two arms reaching out, grabbed him by the lapels, picked him up. He says, yeah, I can lift him. Hire him. It was Sid Caesar. The joke, can I go real fast? I'll finish the other one?
Sure, yeah.
Mel Blanc is a friend of Howie Morris's. Howie says to me one day, Mel Blanc, and he said, I was working on a show. Oh, he said, I went home. He said, and I said to myself, they gave me $25. He said, I will never humiliate myself by taking $25 to have some freak pick me up by the lapels. He said, the phone rang. He said, so help me God, Lou. It was Max Liebman. He said, $50 and not a cent more. He got, I should. I'm screwing up the whole thing here.
No, you didn't.
Well, Howard, of course, did a lot of the great voices on here. He did Wolfie, Frankie, the Mummy. I think he did Dr. Jekyll Hyde. Now, had you watched a lot of monster movies when you were a kid, Jack? I mean, you drew on a lot of these influences, obviously, from a pretty solid wealth of knowledge.
They were what I was brought up on. All of the monster movies, sure. I think every kid was influenced strongly, sometimes negatively, because some of the. I remember the original Frankenstein movie scared me a lot. Of course, here in Groovie Goolies, we went the opposite direction.
Do you think that maybe the creation of Groovie Goolies might have been your way of kind of shaking hands with the monsters and your fears as a child, and by making them?
No, it was his way of making a living.
That's right.
I'm looking for pathos and looking for a psychological background here. Is it? Because that's as a kid, I would be scared by that stuff as well. But watching the Goolies, it was okay because the monsters were now big babies.
Yeah.
And the child was put in the position of power watching these monsters who would probably be more scared of the child.
You notice the little people on this show are more powerful than the big people on this show.
Right. The smart ones are Batso and Ratso and Hauntleroy.
That's right.
To me, you remembered all those things.
Oh, yeah. I grew up on this. This is I was Frankie for Halloween one year. Oh, I wanted to talk about merchandising too. Groovie Goolies.
There wasn't any.
There's not enough. That's definitely for sure. But I know that Ben Cooper had some great Halloween costumes.
Yep,
and there was the record.
We sold the Halloween costumes. Right. But in those days, merchandising did not necessarily follow a show.
Yeah.
I mean, what merchandise? We did that with He-Man. That's what did merchandising.
Uh-huh.
But these guys, whether there were lunch baskets and there were the normal things, they should have been merchandise.
Yeah.
But Lou, didn't you have a rock and roll group that you sent out on the road for a while?
We should have.
I thought you did.
We released an album with people in Groovie
The
Goolies
rock and roll
costumes.
group was the Hardy Boys.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
not these are perfect. Look at it.
Yeah.
I am stumbling again. I love this character.
You've had a long
that's
day.
right.
They did do actual live action stuff with Delvey, the other two guys you were talking about.
We did
Dick Mondo?
Yes.
Dick Mondo. We did a nighttime special. Remember the Groovie Goolies visited.
And they turned human.
they turned human.
Right.
And they were really weirder than they were as animated.
And those were the guys on the cover of the record album that you can find on eBay now for about $100.
Which I got anyway.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Ed Fournier.
Now this is
Dick Honda.
this is a definite laugh-in inspiration.
Never, not really.
I call it inspiration. Inspiration is
Homage.
a tribute, homage, right?
Yes.
And Delvey, I forgot Delvey.
As far as some of the voice choices made by Howie and some of the other people, was that entirely up to them that he decided that the Mummy was going to sound like Ed Wynn?
No.
That was your direction?
Yeah, we totally control those guys. No, I should. I mean, what are you gonna do? You got three nuts in there. I mean, you Storch. You know how you did Storch?
How?
You say Storch. Can you do Henry Danielle? Henry, he picked out a book. He had a book that he carried with him. He opened the book. He says, number 23. Yes, I do Henry Danielle. So help me God. And if he hadn't had the book, he couldn't do Daniel. First day Storch comes to recording this show, these shows. Yeah. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning. Prescott is in directing the shows. And I'm sitting in our office, and Storch comes in. It's a break time. He says, you got anything to drink? I said, yeah, he said, yeah, you got anything? He said, oh, I walk over, and I open up this fresh water. Oh, no. He says, white wine. And it's 10 o'clock in the morning. So I pour a great big glass of white wine. He's saying, more. I said, okay. As I said that, his wife walked into the room, and she said, Larry? I said, oh, good morning, Mrs. Storch, and I drank that thing. I can't. His breakfast with his star in the Ghostbusters. Forrest Tucker. Their guest, their deal with me is Larry got a gallon of any kind of premium wine per day. And what did Tucker get? Tucker got beer, a case of beer. It lasted for about 1 week while they're shooting the shows. And Tucker calls me to the stage, and I was in a little office, and we had a thing on the stage. I said, what's going on? What's wrong? He said, Lou, I got to talk to you. I said, yeah. He said, you know that stuff about the beer, the case of beer a day? He said, from now on, it's Jack Daniels.
His way of asking for a raise.
Right.
Yeah, I was really scared.
This bringing back some memories, Jack? This is pretty great stuff, huh?
No, they kept me away from the voice people. I think producers don't like when writers mix in on recordings. That's been my experience, because it's enough for the director to give them suggestions. And even though sometimes the line is read wrong or the emphasis is wrong, we're not allowed to say anything about it. And if you do, you go through the director. You make your suggestions to the director. If he thought, you were right, he'd talk to the actors.
But I tell you, that's the way most outfits run. Yeah. But Norm, I think, directed a lot of, maybe most of these.
Did Hal Sutherland direct any of these?
No, it's interesting. Everybody says director, and they assume they're directing voices and the show. Right. The way we worked, Norm or I directed the voices. Mm-hmm. Hal handled all the animation directives. But we really relied on the actors. I mean, and to give them freedom, they're terrific.
Yeah.
I mean, they had more fun on this than we were having.
It's one of the greatest casts. Back in those days, it was Howie Morris doing everything. He was doing Adam Ant. He was doing Beetle Bailey. He was doing this show. He was doing tons of stuff. And Jughead, of course, for you guys, in the Archies.
Well,
John Irwin, Dallas McKennon, who was the voice of Archie.
You know them all.
Oh, these are my heroes, dude.
Dallas
By the way,
McKennon
is Dallas still alive?
He is. I wasn't able to find him, but he's still around. Yeah, I saw him at an autograph show in Burbank about 2 years ago, and he's still as youthful and spunky as ever.
I would love to get in touch with him because when I was a kid, I watched Archie, and Archie was how I imagined my teenage voice would sound like. In fact, as a character for a cartoon, I want to do one of these days. If I ever could catch Dallas, I would love to cast him, because due to that Archie voice, he'd be so perfect for this. Because Archie his voice was just so off the beaten path for a teenager.
If you could just find a photograph of Dallas, so kids could see what he really looked like.
Right.
Yes, because
I mean, he played the bartender in Daniel Boone, if anybody
Right.
can remember that.
Well, he looks like Santa Claus now.
He looked like Santa Claus,
he
but
was
he's not
Santa
as
Claus
heavy.
then.
Right. Yeah, he's a thin Santa Claus, and strangely enough, he still can sound like Archie because he did the voice for me.
That is so cool.
It brought a tear to my eye. It was absolutely amazing.
That is so cool. I wanted to bring up a little point here. One thing I noticed with this show in particular was that, of course, everybody, because back in the days when networks were doing things that attract us kids, they would do things where they would try to go for creating a national catchphrase, something that, we kids will be talking about. And I noticed with this show, the closest thing I catch to something that will be repeated as kind of a catchphrase was Frankie always
You're saying,
"I
needed that.
Yeah.
Did you notice that Jack was the only one that didn't come in on that line?
Well, Wolfie's howls were, of course, very quotable. But yeah, I needed that was very.
I got to
funny.
say one thing. This is a show that the writing really made. And the stuff that happened after the writing was, I mean, doing a board on this was simple. I mean, the writing really. What? You wrote you turned in one a week, right? How did we work? You're not the only guys who wrote it, though. There are some other names on this, but you wrote most of them.
Yeah, I think I wrote most of them with Jim Mulligan, who was my partner on Laugh-In. And a lot of the stuff, I guess, I don't think we did the entire season. I think by that time,
first batch.
Yeah, by that time, I think you handed it over to your staff of excellent writers, and we were out. We were off doing other things then.
Jack, do you have any other, or Jack or Lou, do you have any other ideas of other Filmation shows that had this kind of pacing, or was this pretty much unique in that regard?
It was unique in that regard.
Yeah. It had. I think everyone was after the Laugh-In quick cut idea that if.
Also, the show, the way it's written. I mean, there are no long stories.
Right.
They're all little gags.
little
that are set
wacky
up.
gags. Yeah.
They're just gags.
You got
and,
Was it your idea to introduce kind of the music video format to this? Was that an inspiration from the Monkees, or how did you? Because Laugh-In had no music video. That's right. Daryl, you have an idea about that?
We had to remember the guy who directed the Archies was Don Kirshner,
Right.
who came from the Monkees. So
Yep.
kind of little throw line.
It's the 6 degrees of
Well,
Monkees.
but differently. Kirshner had nothing to do with this.
Right.
No, with this, no.
But the Archies
And
did it.
but we really decided we wanted a musical group with them. First place, it's terrific. I mean, it's still a good idea to do a musical group with them. We are also spoofing we did the name of the bands, the Rolling Headstones.
Right, yeah.
The Spirits of 76.
Yeah,
and the Mummies and the Puppies.
There we
Did
go,
you see
Mummies.
that?
All right, exactly.
The Mummies and the Papas.
Well, it's strange that until just recently, Universal Studios in Hollywood, the theme park, had a Beetlejuice graveyard review with Frankenstein playing the guitar, Dracula, Wolfman.
Oh, really?
And,
I think we should
Phantom of
sue
the
them.
Opera.
That's probably where they got
Now.
it. Well,
It's all a tribute.
yes, homage.
Let's talk about Dick Mond a little bit, because he is the pseudonym. Well, that's his real name, but his pseudonym is Daddy Dewdrop.
Daddy Dewdrop.
And you guys got a hit record out of this show in about 1971 called Chicka Boom.
Chicka boom,
Yes.
chicka boom, don't you just love
Love
it?
it.
Yep.
Dick Monda, I got to tell you, this is we're recording the voices on this show, on the Groovie Goolies. We were doing the live action version of the characters at the same time we were shooting them. Howie Morris is coming in and sitting me. We're going to do the show, the animated show. Comes in Dick Monda as Dracula, naked. I mean, he's wearing nothing down below. Comes in Fournier as the Wolfman. Weird. Comes in Delvey. What the heck did Delvey come in as? And Delvey came in as one of the other characters. Howie turns to me, and they're all going to my bathroom, and I don't look up. Nobody's looking up. These naked guys walking by, looking like monsters. Howie says, "You know, there are weird things happening around here, and you guys don't even notice it." He was jealous. That's all.
Yeah, he used to talk.
Jack, Groovie Goolies wasn't exactly the first idea you had for a name. Do you remember some of the other names that you had when you were first developing the show in 1968?
I think they were called help me on this, Lou.
Creeply Peoplies.
Something like Creepy Freaks or some such name.
There were Creeply Peoplies, And the problem with that, there were a couple of names. And the problem with one of them is that there was a toy company that had a group of characters called whatever, Creepy People or something. So we decided we're going to do something very, very I mean, this is today's lingo. We decided to call them the Groovie Goolies. Mm-hmm. Well, the Groovie Goolies is a terrific name. Everybody loved it, except there was a problem in England, and I didn't know what the problem was. We go to England to sell the show, and I get a phone call from Alice Donenfeld, and she says, Lou, we can't sell the show in England. I said, why? She said, do you know what Goolies mean? And we found out.
Yeah, and we won't say, but
we will
obviously
say.
you can't.
But if
use
you
it.
don't know, it's worth looking up.
Yeah.
It may be worth
Google it.
Maybe worth a trip to England to find out.
Can I pop in something here?
Sure, absolutely, Daryl.
One thing I noticed that was kind of weird, and I didn't understand it, was that around 74, when you guys were doing Uncle Croc's Block, they were talking about bringing the concept back, but they had a name Super Fiends that they were going to call these guys. I don't know if they ever came out with that name, but because it was kind of a play on the Super Friends at the time. So
Uncle Croc's Block. My God.
This is amazing. Look at this. What an amazing show. Amazing show.
It's really good.
We did release an album, didn't we, with
yes,
with
you
the
did.
songs?
I have that album at home.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Look at these names on the credits here. Some of your old friends.
Look at
there you go, Jack
Mendelson.
Yeah, Jack
My
Mendelson.
God,
All right.
Mendelson got on top. I didn't get top billing.
Don Christensen, my old boss.
Your turn is coming,
Sherman
Mr.
Labby. Sherman did storyboards
And you
on the
had
library.
3 slates for animators. As a kid, I'm going, animators? Animators?
Where are the voice people?
More animators? Oh my God, more animators.
Bill Pratt, Jack Ozark.
I got to work with a lot of these guys when I came in, because I came just
What
as
is
these guys
Z
were tailored.
Gastronomic? What the heck is that?
Zedco, because they couldn't fit Zedco Gasporovic in the credits.
John Simon?
Joseph Simon.
Joe Simon.
All right, Jane Webb, yes, and another great voice actress we did not mention.
Sabrina.
See,
I got my name was on
You're on
top
top
for the
first.
first time. That's the first time that circle ever did that.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. We have one more commentary on this DVD set. Please join us. Thank you. Hello, my name is Wally Wingert, and I'm very pleased to be in the studio today with 3 esteemed gentlemen who are Filmation alumni, and we're going to lead you through this Groovie Goolies awesome commentary today. And the gentleman directly to my left, would you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Bob Burns, and I'm a street person. No, I'm kidding. No, I used to do things for Filmation, like Tracy the Gorilla, for instance, and Ghostbusters, and this was one of my very favorite shows when I was watching these shows. It was all the monsters and stuff, but they weren't really scary. They were just a lot of fun, and I love them. It's great seeing them again.
And we're going to talk about your background and relationship with the whole monster culture in just a little bit, because you are the go-to guy for monster fans like myself in this day and age as far as reliving some of that old Hollywood monster past. The gentleman to your left is somebody we all know and love and adore. Would you introduce yourself, please?
I'm awestruck. I'm sitting here between 2 guys I worked with. I'm Lou Scheimer, by the way. I'm the producer or whatever it was on these shows. It is so great to be. I think I'm going to cry. My wife will be sorry she's not here. She's never seen me cry.
You'll have a Barbara Walters moment, is what we call it. Where we get a little verklempt.
Really?
And the gentleman next to you is, of course, the creator of Groovie Goolies.
Jack Mendelson. Unless you had more to say about me, I love it. Go ahead.
No, I just like saying the creator of the Groovie Goolies is
Okay.
actually here in the same room with me. That means a lot to me. We were talking on the other commentary about how good these shows look and how really great they were, and the pacing is so amazing and quick. Bob, you were a fan of the show as well, because you've always been into the monster movies when you were a kid. You are a collector of monster stuff now, today.
Oh, yeah.
You have probably the preeminent monster collection, including the original King Kong armature that was used in the original movie.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, have you been to his museum, Lou?
You gotta
No,
come
I'm
over.
afraid he'd keep me.
You'll be one of the exhibits.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Yeah, I go way back to when they started storing the monster stuff on television in the 50s. You know, they had the Screen Gems package, the Wolfman, Frank, all that kind of stuff, you know. And then they started doing the cartoon stuff, and this one is one of the very best that they did on the monsters, because you recognize the monsters, you know who they are, yet they were funny, zany, and they were just really fun to watch. They never scared kids, and they weren't meant to.
Yeah.
They were meant to have a great time. I mean, they're wonderful.
You almost got the sense that the Groovie Goolies would actually be scared of the kids, as opposed to the kids being scared of these guys, which was
terrifying.
always crazy.
Yeah.
And of course, you started working on Ghostbusters in what, 1974?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
with Mr. Scheimer.
Yes.
Did I say this thing on screen about how he was chosen?
No, go ahead. That's a great story.
Well, as I said, we were known as the Do It for Nothing studio. If it's a normal price, they can't do it. Anyway, so we got Tucker and Storch. It was really strange. I said, but how are we going to get the gorilla? I said, we can't really afford to do a costume, and how are you going to find an actor? So we advertise in Variety. Was it Variety? You saw the ad someplace. Looking for one actor with a gorilla suit. Please show up at, and we gave the address.
Yep.
And I came in from lunch one day, and I think Norman was with me. And I walk in, and I see a guy with the gorilla, and he's sitting there, and he's reading Variety. I said, he's the guy. I mean, he's got to be an actor under that. Then I got, wait, so what if it's a real gorilla?
I remember you trying to pull that head off. That hurt.
Jack, who was your favorite character on the show?
I don't know why. I think this Drac was maybe because he was sort of the ringleader, and he had more involvement in the sequences.
No,
but they were all good. Really, I'm sitting here looking at these tapes, and I'm really admiring the animation and the editing of it and the voices. Everything is just terrific. I'm impressed with myself.
Yeah, well, no more impressed than we are. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm depressed. I wish I was still doing it.
Me too.
Hey, Jack, let me ask you, one of the things in my internet research which I never knew as a kid, was that there's a family structure going on here in Horrible Hall that we weren't aware of. Now, is it true that his name was Tom Dracula?
You know, I don't remember.
Is it true that he's the father and he's married to her, and they have Wolfie and Frankie as children? Is that internet made up stuff?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I don't remember.
Because I was really quite surprised to find out.
Wait a minute.
I'm taking the fifth on this.
Wait. What do we get if we tell you the truth?
Yeah. You get an extra set of grapes in the craft services.
Hey, it's a gorilla. I like that.
Yeah, this show just is still today just tweaks me.
Oh, it holds up.
It really holds up, yeah.
It's excellent.
And even though the monsters aren't, in popular culture, not quite what they used to be, this still is. Look at that background.
I know.
Do you remember the background people that worked on this? Because some of these backgrounds were amazing.
We had one background person. Wow. No. Irv Kaplan did the color keys and the color. What we did, the head of our background department literally color keyed all the characters. We knew we were going to have Frankie going to be green. Mm-hmm. We made little. When I say color keyed, they're about 5x7 paintings. And every half hour that we went through every show, Irv would do the key stuff. We had a bunch of, we had some really terrific. Don Peters may have worked on this. Tom O'Loughlin. There's a guy I don't like. I'm not going to mention him.
Come on, Lou, you like everyone.
I don't like this guy. I've forgotten his name. I remember it, but I'm not mentioning it.
Right, that's fine.
And, what's the pretty girl? There's a I'm starting to feel. I have to call Kaplan and find out who else worked on this show.
Well, suffice to say that the artwork.
And by
on
the
this
way, the
is...
color we're watching here on this set is not really the color that the show is really. I mean, the stuff was not made to be frightening. It was made to be funny.
Oh,
and the colors were weird colors, bright colors,
Vibrant.
happy colors.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. There's
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Oh, Bonaparte is the name of the skeleton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
But
And he kind of talked like this.
But his skin was not green in that last shot.
Who, Frankie's?
Yeah, in that previous shot, he was. I think we didn't have a makeup guy around.
You needed Frank.
I just think
Griffin
this
for that.
monitor might be kind of old there, Lou. So, Bob, do you remember much about the merchandising of Groovie Goolies back in the day? Do you remember much being out there? Because as a collector...
there wasn't a whole lot I saw. I think there were some color forms out there, I believe,
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. And I think there was a paint set,
Right.
I believe, that I got. I tried to get everything I could get on all the shows.
We
do you still have that stuff today?
No, some of it my folks got rid of.
As I said, but that's really before. If there was merchandising, it wasn't the way merchandising was done later.
Right.
I mean, all of a sudden, after we did, as I was telling the guys before, after we did He-Man, you couldn't do a show without the merchandising, and merchandising would supply. But when we did this, we didn't have any merchandising on Fat Albert, and that was done shortly after this.
Yeah. Wow. It was a whole different ballgame back then, because I remember looking for Groovie Goolies stuff and not being able to find enough, except for like a Halloween costume that I wore one year. But
there were Halloween costumes.
But look at the full animation on this stuff.
Yeah.
How great it is, I mean, the camera tracks in, tracks out. I mean, it's so great. So everything's moving.
if the colors are this good on this monitor, imagine what they must be like when you originally shot them on film. Must have just been knock your eyes out.
Wow.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Boy, is that crazy?
Good
The
stuff.
pacing on this thing is so amazing. And now you ended with a song in every episode?
Yeah, we had the Groovie Goolies that did what they did, the Rolling Tombstones.
Right.
They did, I can't remember. All the bands were funny, and then we
Yeah.
would do. What do you? You're making fun of the band.
Oh, parody.
Parody.
Satire.
Yeah.
See, I can't say long words.
Parody sounds like party, but it's just got one extra syllable in it.
If this outfit that was doing the DVDs was really the kind of outfit that I really would like to be dealing with, we'd have a big party tonight.
We would,
That would be awesome. And we'd all dress up as our favorite ghoulie. Speaking of which, your favorite ghoulie, Lou. Who's your favorite character in the show?
God, I never thought of it. No, I couldn't separate them.
Right. It's like asking which is your favorite child.
And you notice this show was really done with real actors. It's the only show I think we ever did that I didn't do a voice in for nothing.
Bob, your favorite ghoulie character?
Oh, it has to be the monster, I think. I mean, he's just such a cool-looking guy.
Yeah. He's such a big baby.
Yeah, and he reminds me of me.
Right.
So that's why. I mean,
Do you still say, I needed that?
I needed that.
Yeah.
I sure did.
Well, that was actually that came from a commercial that was going on at the time where a guy got slapped or something.
I think it was Alka-Seltzer. It's one of those things.
Yeah. That was a great.
I feel terrible. I need it.
Did you come up with that idea for the I needed that, Jack?
No, I don't remember.
I came up with
Your
it.
Honor.
No.
I think I came up
He's
with
pleading
it.
I
the
really
fifth
don't
again.
remember.
I think I called Lou, and I came up. Never mind.
Yeah. So, Bob, when you finally being a fan of this stuff in the early 70s, when you finally got a chance to actually work with Filmation and meet Lou, that must have been a huge honor for you.
Oh, my God. I'm gonna tell you, it was like dying and going to heaven. I mean, honestly, Lou is, well, I got to say, I worked for a lot of people, and I say he was the best producer I've ever worked for, and probably just about the nicest guy I've ever worked for.
Would you
period.
concur, Jack?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
These are two well-known liars.
I'm telling you.
Who are looking for work.
I am not buying you dinner.
No, that $20 you slipped me wasn't good enough for that. But no.
Wait a minute.
Lou, I don't know if you know this or not, but on eBay, the Dracula costume I saw the other day was going for about $125.
Wow.
Pretty good for something you used to buy for $4.99, in the store.
I'd say.
Yeah,
I
it's
wish
pretty.
I had one of those.
Are you aware that there's a punk band named Groovie Goolies, but they've changed the spelling a little bit? As,
Yeah.
as a tribute.
And they're not doing well in England.
Yeah, I guess not. No. I guess not.
For those of you who haven't heard the first commentary, we should explain that the word ghoulies means something entirely different over in England, which we
But
we
it's
can't
a
say
private
here, but
part. Yeah,
it's
mostly
yeah.
held by men.
You could not. Yes, you could not use it here.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh,
And if you
man.
find a woman with some of those, that's really weird.
Yeah.
Larry Mann did the voice of Bonaparte, right?
I think, I can't read. I just remember Howie and
Storch.
Howie, Storch.
Jane Webb.
Jane Webb did she did 800 women for us.
Yeah.
Larry Mann, yeah, he must have done that.
Because I know he was Batso and Ratso, and I think Howie was Haunt-Leroy.
Who was the
Asket Casket?
Yeah.
I'm not sure who that was. Jack, do you remember?
No.
No idea?
No.
Boy, what a great pool of voice talent here.
Yeah. I wasn't born yet. I just saw him on reruns.
Yeah.
This was Senor Wentz's hand.
Did he do it for scale?
Bob, do you have any Groovie Goolies artwork or anything that you've
No,
managed to
I
collect
sure
up? 'Cause
wish I
it's-
did.
It's definitely out there. Ooh, Dracula without his cape. You just never
I
see
know,
that.
no.
Yeah.
Wow, you never see that. I love this plant. It's a
look
little
at that.
precursor to Audrey 2 from
It
Little
sure
Shop of
is.
Horrors.
Yeah. Done as well, too, I would say.
Is that- Yeah.
You're a good interlocutor. I mean, you really are.
Oh, thanks. No, this is a huge. This is the kind of stuff that got me interested in doing voice work initially, because of guys like you and Jack and Hal Sutherland and the late Mr. Norm Prescott.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff that got people like me interested, and I'm sure Bob.
Oh, absolutely.
It got you interested in performing as well. Because,
Definitely did.
We were so careful with this show that Norm and I didn't do any voices, and it really seems better as a result.
I have no comment on that. I mean, he's the guy that got me in trouble in Ghostbusters because he was the voice of Zero giving us the ghost assignment, and I always got blown up when he got finished. So.
Who? Prescott?
No, you.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Did I? Oh, you mean the thing where you guys?
Yeah. Well, I got
That was
blown
my
up.
voice?
It certainly was. Believe me. And every time I heard that voice, I knew I was going to get something happening bad to me. And it was wonderful. I loved it. Look at this. I mean, this is just class
this
stuff.
This is great.
Man.
Great stuff. Look, it's that classic Filmation look.
It is.
You would see something on TV and you say, that's a Filmation show. I
Yeah.
know it because it all had a signature look.
It did.
Yeah, nothing's moving.
Oh, it's great.
But we didn't care. The colors and the action and the writing, thanks to Jack,
It's wonderful.
made it all. And it's the fact that there wasn't 1,000 things moving was actually really, really just inconsequential. It made no difference because this was magic right here.
Well, one thing, it's story, too. It's actually
all-
telling
yeah.
a story, which is great. It's just not a bunch of stuff moving around,
Right.
you know?
And telling a story in a very short amount of time for the kids' attention spans, which aren't very long.
Absolutely, yeah.
Luke,
Luke, can you say in all honesty this was one of your favorite shows of all the stuff
in
you
all
did?
honesty, I can say that.
How did you find Jack? Jack came to you after Laugh-In, or how did that whole thing?
I think Prescott knew you somehow. How the hell we?
No, I don't.
How did we meet? 'Cause
I think it was from Silverman, Fred Silverman, who was head of CBS.
and he's
Morning,
absolutely. We could
Saturday
put him
morning.
away in an institution, and no, I shouldn't say that.
And I think
Fred was a genius.
Yeah, I think Fred was instrumental in digging me up. I'm not certain how.
Digging you up.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
like
looking
that.
at the Groovie Goolies, you know. It's got me in that kind of.
Did you have
mood.
kids, Jack, that kind of encouraged you to get into animation, or why did you want to go from a live action like Laugh-In and other shows to something like this? It was just a job, or did you have a certain interest in it?
You know, as so many writing assignments start, it's just a job, as you said. But then you it's like a dating service. You fall in love with them sometimes. And this was a show I really loved. I really liked the energy of this. And
Did Lou ask you to come up with something monster-based, or did you say, I'm going to come up with this,
no,
do all the
I'm
background
sure
work?
it came from Lou and a combination of Lou, and I think Fred Silverman. Lou, didn't you have this thing going before I entered into it? We just didn't. It wasn't
I
put
was trying to
together
do
properly.
something. I was doing something, and I was trying to make a deal with Mattel of all people.
Huh.
I can't. You know, honest to God, I can't. We're talking about 1970.
69,
69,
70,
70.
something like that, yeah. A long time ago.
It would have been just like...
I think I wanted to do something called the Creeply Peeplies or something like that. It was a really
Yeah.
bad name. And
I think you're right, Lou, because that material that I gave to Andy, I managed to dig up in my files a lot of the old Groovie Ghoulie presentations and some of the rough artwork.
Did you have the show sold to CBS before you actually developed it? Did you sell
No.
it to them just based on the idea?
well, you know, in those days, the shows were sold on the base on doing with presentation. I mean, you did drawings and did some character notes. And what we did do one thing that was always interesting. We did do a main title song.
Oh.
And that really, I mean, it worked a lot. You go in with a main title song. I'm not too sure. This is probably written by, I think, probably Ed Fournier and Delvey, and those guys worked on this too.
It was an amazing team of craftspeople who put this all together between the voices and the background people and the writers, and of course led by the great Lou Scheimer, who's a great leader and well
In spite
loved.
of Lou Scheimer.
It's funny because the more self-deprecating you get, the more adulation I throw at you.
What are you going to do about that? We got to get rid of that line.
Without Lou Scheimer, we wouldn't have a.
He's going to take care of it.
We wouldn't even have any of these shows. That's the whole thing.
You're
you know?
right, yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point.
How did you originally start doing business with Norm Prescott? How did you guys meet?
Well,
You guys were ad guys or something, and you started doing animation.
Ad guys.
For ad, right? Or radio DJs.
I worked as an artist in a advertising agency in Pittsburgh, retouching storm windows. I went to a good school, though. I went to Carnegie Tech. Andy Warhol and I used to walk to school together, although he got a better job than I got. I'll tell you how I met Norman. A guy named Irv Wilson. A guy named Irv Kaplan, who we interviewed yesterday. Kaplan and I were working together at Larry Harmon's doing Bozo the Clown. And we were always trying to sell something. And we couldn't sell anything. And he said, I got a friend. He said, my brother is an insurance agent in Boston, and he's got a friend who is a client of his named Norm Prescott, who is working for Joe Levine. Now, Joe Levine was producing Hercules.
Right, yeah.
And Norm had been a disc jockey at the age of 19. He was a very, very well-known disc jockey. Getting a song on his show
meant everything, yeah.
So Norm was working with Joe Levine. He's coming to Los Angeles. Kaplan says to me, let's go see him. Maybe we can get Joe Levine to give us some money to do a show. So we go to the hotel to meet Norm, and this is the Hotel Bel Air, whatever it is. And we knock on the door, and the guy answers, and he's got no pants on. And I said, I think he's gay. I said, what do we got? I mean, I don't want to give this guy a presentation. He calls us, says, come on in, guys. And we went in, and Norm, whenever he went to a hotel, was so cheap that he would take his pants off and put them underneath the mattress and sleep on them. And he always said, had to have one pair of pants when he traveled.
And they'd be freshly pressed in the morning.
Always freshly packed. Forget it. We couldn't sell anything to Norm. He didn't have any money.
Right.
About 3 years later, I was working. I started Filmation. We'd started Filmation. Irv and I, and we were at Paramount. We had studios at Paramount. We were in a big building there, and we were doing something called Red Rocket. And 10 films on the life of Christ. Now, it was really pretty weird because we were doing it for the Missouri Synod of the Lutheran Church through an outfit called Family Films run by a Jewish guy named Hirsch, who gives me this 10 films to do on the life of Christ, and Hal's Catholic and I'm Jewish, and we don't know what these guys want to do. So I'm going in downstairs, I'm going to get something to eat, and Prescott walks up. Oh, damn, I got to say this fast. And said, I'm doing a feature film overseas, and I need some help because I think I'm going to produce it in this country. Can you do it, Lou? I was going to say no. Right. I said, yeah, we can handle it. I think we're a little busy right now. And, this is really long. I don't want to get to the rest. This is a funny story. That's how we... And Norm became our client. His brother, who was working for an airline running... contraband into Africa. Weird stuff. And this airline was being supplied with money by the UN. This is a true story. And his brother, who's an accountant or something, who's selling something with money, put this money in to do this film called Journey Back to Oz. And Norm had an incredible lineup of people, talent doing the show. So I said, yeah, we can do that. What happens was the Congo crisis stopped. The money stopped, and the picture stopped. So Norm and I had to become partners because we couldn't afford to do it any other way. We spent 10 years running around looking for money.
Boy. The historical beginnings of one of the great animation studios of all time Filmation. Thank you, Mr. Bob Burns. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Lee Scheimer. And thank you, Jack Mendelson. We had a great time with the Groovie Ghoulies.
Same here.
And you're a good interlocutor.
Absolutely. Interlocutor.
Yeah.
Did you just coin a word? That's amazing.
I think so.
Yes, that's great.
I thought you had trouble with large words.
Yeah, like parody.
Is it really a real? No, you know what an interlocutor is. In minstrel shows, he's the guy with the black...
Ask the question.
Oh,
Ask the
yes.
question.
Right. Dick Monday at Frontier, Richard Delvey. Yep, boy,
wow.
Great music in this show.
Oh, this
Thank you again, gentlemen. I'm looking very forward to...
See, my name's on top.
Look at that.
Yay! This DVD package we're all
I'm leaving for the
looking
day.
forward to.
Andy, Mangle, you've lost me.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.